By the winter of 1914, the Great War had devolved into a brutal, senseless stalemate. Millions of men huddled in frozen, muddy trenches, separated by a mangled stretch of earth called No Man's Land. The patriotic fervor of August was gone, replaced by misery and the daily routine of death. Christmas was coming, and for the soldiers on the Western Front, it promised nothing but more cold, more mud, and more killing. But then, on Christmas Eve, something extraordinary happened. A moment of grace so unbelievable it feels more like a myth than history. This is the story of that moment, told in a letter from a young British private named Arthur Hayes to his sister, Elsie.
Dearest Elsie, I am writing this on Boxing Day, and I am still not entirely sure that the last 2 days were real. You will not believe me when I tell you what has happened here. In fact, I am not sure I believe it myself. 2 days ago, on Christmas Eve, we were in our trench, miserable as always. The mud was frozen solid, and the air was so cold it hurt to breathe. We were all convinced the Huns, as they call them, would start a bombardment just for the sake of it, to ruin our Christmas. We spent the day taking potshots at each other, the same grim business as any other day. But as darkness fell, something changed. It grew quiet. Not just our guns, but theirs too. It was a silence so deep it felt unnatural, unnerving. Then, we began to hear them. Faintly at first, then clearer. They were singing. It was a Christmas carol. Our sergeant, who knows a bit of German, said it was Stille Nacht, silent night. It was the most beautiful, haunting thing I have ever heard. When they finished, a few of our boys, emboldened, sang the first Noel back at them, and then they applauded. They clapped for us, from their trench 100 yards away. A few of our braver lads started shouting Christmas greetings across to them. "Merry Christmas, Fritz," one of them yelled, and a voice came back, in broken English. "Merry Christmas, Tommy." Then, we saw it. Little lights began to appear all along the German parapet. They were small Christmas trees, lit with candles. It was like a fairy tale. A German officer stood up, fully exposed, and shouted that they would not shoot if we did not. Our own captain agreed. And just like that, it seemed the war had stopped. Christmas morning was even stranger. I woke up, and the world was still quiet. Then I saw it. A few of their men, and a few of ours, had climbed out of the trenches. They were walking towards each other in the middle of no man's land. Cautiously at first, then with more confidence. Our captain gave the nod, and soon, we were all out there. Elsie, I was standing on the very ground I had been trying to kill men on just the day before, and I was shaking hands with them. They were not the savage monsters from the papers. They were men. Barbers, factory workers, farmers. One of them, a fellow named Friedrich from Bavaria, spoke a little English. He showed me a picture of his wife and his little girl. He looked just like our neighbor, Mr. Schmidt. He gave me one of his German sausages, and I gave him a tin of our tobacco. We buried our dead together, the ones who had lain out there for weeks. We said prayers for them, in English and in German. It all felt so human. Later in the day, someone produced a football. I swear to you, Elsie, a football. For an hour, we played a match. England versus Germany, right there in the middle of the war. There were no uniforms, just men laughing and chasing a ball in the mud. I looked around at the faces, German and English, and no one was smiling a false smile. It was real. For that one day, we were not soldiers. We were just men. I do not know what will happen now. The generals will not be happy, I am sure. But as I write this, I have to wonder. If we, the ordinary soldiers, can find peace amongst ourselves in the middle of this mess, why can't the kings and kaisers do the same? It feels as though we have a secret the world does not yet know. We have proven that our shared humanity is greater than any order to kill. Perhaps this war will be over sooner than we think. Your loving brother, Arthur.
Arthur's hopeful prediction, shared by thousands of men on that Christmas day, would not come true. The high commands on both sides were horrified by the spontaneous truce, and strict orders were issued to prevent any future fraternization. The war would grind on for 4 more brutal years, claiming millions more lives. The Christmas Truce of 1914 was a brief, miraculous exception, a flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness. It was a testament to the fact that, even in the worst of circumstances, the bonds of a shared humanity can, for a moment, be stronger than the orders of war. It was a peace made by the men who had to do the dying, a letter of hope from a war that had just begun.